Hello, KM6LYW radio viewers. We're going to talk about the Digipie a little more. That's an amateur radio data transceiver. It's kind of like the ultimate modem for your radio. And we got some big news about that, and we're going to talk about it just after we thank the guys that are contributing to KM6LYW Patreon's page for September. Thank you guys, Bozadar, Brian, John, Don, Joshua, Marcus, and Miguel. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. And then we've got the rest of the gang here, the rest of the contributors that are making all of this possible. So like this new wide angle camera, and I got an extra mic here I need to figure out, and a lot of extra hardware. Thank you guys for doing this. So we're here to talk about the DigiPi project. So this is a Raspberry Pi Zero. It's usually an audio card on top of that. You can see that here. It's an FE-Pi audio card or an audio injector Z. And then we got this cool screen from Adafruit that we put on there. So there's three layers. There's a Raspberry Pi Zero, and that's really only $10 for a single board computer, then a stacking header, and then these two cards on top of that. And that's what we're looking at. And then some clever software for download that we can download from this page. The page you want to remember here, and I'm actually going to zoom this in if you guys don't mind. See if I can do this here. Is Krager.org/Digipie. So this is the starting place, Krager.org/Digipie. And that'll get you to this page that you're looking at right here. And this is everything you need to build a Digipie. It's got the shopping list. It's got a wiring diagram. You can hook this up to any radio. It could be, like an FM radio, like, I don't know, I got a couple of Yaesus here and an ICOM. It's all doable. And here's your shopping list for the Raspberry Pi Zeros, like $15. The Audio Hat is around $20. Things are getting a little harder to find. Go to the shopping list to find these. The stacking header is kind of like just some long pins, so you can stack two things on top of your Raspberry Pi Zero. Then if you can just this N-channel FET, don't let the electronic stuff scare you. It's really easy to put this together if you want to have a FET and a resistor, do the push-to-talk circuit on a non-USB type radio. If you have a USB radio that has a USB jack in it, you don't have to do any of this soldering stuff. In fact, you don't even need the sound card or the screen. You just need the Raspberry Pi Zero if you have a USB-based radio like the Yaesu FT991 or the ICOM 7300. So don't let the wiring diagram scare you if you haven't ever built something like this. So all of the steps to build this are right here at Krager.org/Digipie. So what's new about the Digipie? I've got one here in the screen you can see just below me. Actually, I can point to it right here because I got two cameras. It's hooked up via USB to this Yaesu 991 that you can see there. And if once you have a Digipie installed, um, or at least built, what you can do is there's all these different services you can run. There's almost too many to name here. If you're into APRS or maybe AX.25 radio networking, maybe you want a Digipie, maybe you want a terminal node controller. This does all of this here. Maybe if you're into NetROM and Node and Packet, robust Packet, and you want to have a bulletin board system over amateur radio, we can do that here. In fact, we have a bulletin board kind of built into this called Linux Node. If you're into WinLink, maybe you want to send email over amateur radio. Maybe you want to do SMS texting over amateur radio. We can bridge all of that and do all of that here. We can do it locally on VHF frequencies, and we can do it globally on HF frequencies. The newest things, what I want to announce here is this is Digipie version 1.5. This is brand new. In fact, when I'm making this video, I haven't actually released it yet, so I really hope it's done by the time this video goes live. I try to make one of these videos every day on Friday. So the new stuff in 1.5 is really aspirational goal. I never planned on running GUI apps. The Raspberry Pi was really designed to be really low power. This thing can get down to like 100 milliamps and really small, really lightweight. So if you're doing summits on the air, portable operation, parks on the air, this tiny Raspberry Pi here is just really cool. But it was never really designed to run things like FT8, graphics intensive apps, CPU intensive apps. And it was slow scan television, FLDigi. Well, FLDigi by itself, it'll do CW, PSK31. It'll do almost every digital mode you can think of. I've never really intended for those to work, so they were aspirational goals. So kind of based on a dare, I tried to get them to work, and you know what? They do work. There's some tweaks that I was able to do to the Raspberry Pi Zero, mostly that the Raspberry Pi Zero only runs at power save mode. You can actually run it at full performance mode, which gives you a 30% CPU boost, and it allows us to run things like FT8, slow scan television, and FLDigi. And we're going to see if we can demonstrate all of that stuff here in the next few minutes. How many modes can we do per minute, right? So the first one's already free. We've got an APRS iGate. It is listening to stuff coming in on 144.39, and that's on the Yaesu here. And the display software is something I wrote. Again, that's all open source software. All of this is open source software. And you can see the APRS packets coming in. What's cool there is it's a TNC, so I can actually connect with my cell phone and use APRS Droid, which is what I'm using here. We can see the packets rolling in on this. We know it's connected over Bluetooth because the little blue light is on there. And I can say send my position, and it just sent my position. I don't know if you could hear or see that, but my little amateur radio, my little HT picked it up. And there I am, KM6LYW at the top of the list for APRS TNC. And so that was gated to the internet. So that's what a TNC does as a terminal node controller. Let's say I want a digipeater. I don't know if you guys know what APRS digipeaters are. They're high-level repeaters that repeat packets. So in order to make it a digipeater, I can just simply click the on button here for Digipeater. And this is the web interface for the Raspberry Pi. There's no monitor, there's no keyboard. You don't need any of that stuff. It just draws power. It's heavy. It's hard to use. It's all web-based stuff. So let's see. We're in Digipeater mode now, so I can use my HT and send a packet. And I kind of want to. I want you to see the packet being sent and the Yaesu. All right, here we go. Sending a packet. All right, and I got my packet back on the radio here that was just repeated by the Digipie and the Yaesu radio. All right, I'm gonna turn off my HT there. So we did an iGate for APRS. We did APRS digipeating. That's done. It's in the bag. Let's do another mode. How about node services like AX.25 networking? There's a radio network out there that you can get on. There's lots of nodes, and you get from one node to another node. They can route through each other. AX.25 is a connected network protocol. I'm going to click on in that right now. And the Digipie here can become a node. In fact, that I just clicked on it. It is now their little green dot going to show up right next to Linux node AX.25. Now down here we can click on AX call. We can connect to our own node, so you can kind of see what it looks like. This is connecting over the network, of course, but from here we can go out to other nodes. In fact, let me put it on a node frequency. How about 145.730? This is my node. And on my node, actually, on the Digipie, there's actually Zork, or Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Someone can log into your radio and play Zork. There it is, Zork 1, The Great Underground Empire. But we're not here to play Zork. Let's see, I type quit. Yes, I want to quit. Now I can do connect, radio interface, MTV NOD. This is another system. It's on the other side of California. And the Yaesu is now connecting to it. The Digipie is driving the radio. And eventually I should get something that says connected to. I got to send another packet. It didn't hear me. Oh, there it comes. Connected to MTV NOD on port radio. There we are. So I can do a long listing of nodes here just to see all the other cool radios that have connected to this guy. Here they come. And this could be a bulletin board. This could be like an email relay station or something like that. Right now, it's just a digipeater. I know it's in easy range. It's about 70 miles to the west of here. I'm in California, so I'm just going to say bye to that guy. How cool is this? We are using node networking, using the Digipie, and he should hang up on me. I don't think he got that packet. I'm not at full power here. I'm at maybe 25 watts, but he'll get the picture. In fact, I am just going to go ahead and close this. Actually, I'm back to my node, so I'm just going to say bye. And we're closed. All right, so we did AX.25 networking. So we did APRS, TNC, we did APRS Digipeater. In fact, you can do APRS on HF. And then we just finished AX.25 networking and connected to another node. So let's say you're into email or SMS messaging. You can do all of that over amateur radio as well. You can do it on VHF, you can do it on HF, and do all of this on the DigiPi. So I'm going to say turn on the WinLink email server. And I'm also going to turn on the PAT WinLink email client. That's like your inbox and your outbox. So these things can kind of work together. So it's spinning right now. There's green boxes next to both of those. And then I'm going to come down here and click on email. How cool is this? And then here is my email interface. I got in my inbox, my outbox. I can check my email. In fact, let's just check our email. I'm going to say Action Connect. This is going to be via, actually, I'm going to select an alias. I got to find somebody on our frequency. We're on 145730, right? That's what it shows in the camera there. I'm sure we've got somebody on 145730. Yep, we're going to go through a Digipeater. And we're going to connect to K6SOL-10 and check our email. We hit connect. You can see the radio is transmitting. What we're kind of looking for the transmit, I know it's not animated, so there's a little red light that's going to come on here when we send a packet, and that's when we're transmitting. And there it is. So I'm sending a packet. I'm receiving packets. The DigiPi display it's using something called Direwolf under the hood, and this is displaying what the Direwolf status and nodes that are coming in. So you can see on the display here that we're connected to K6SOL. You can also see down here that we are connected. I might even be able to zoom in on this. You can see it says we're connected to K6SOL and we're checking our email right now. This is what the CMS prompt is. And it's probably going to tell us that we don't have any email. Yeah, and it's disconnected. And that's cool. So we just checked our email. If there was an email, it would have come in at about 1200 baud using the DigiPi. So, okay. Again, we're going through as many modes as fast as we possibly can. We can do this over email over HF as well. That's what this R.dot modem is. So if I wanted to do email over high HF frequencies, which go around the world, and there's stations all over the world you can use, you can basically do what I just did using the R.dot modem instead of the built-in AX.25 network stack that's in the DigiPi. All right, so let's turn off PAT. Let's turn off the WinLink email server. Now we're going to get to the good stuff. This is brand new for Digipie 1.5. I'm really interested in what you guys think about this. The big thing is WS-JTX FT8. This allows you to make contacts with other stations using extremely low signal to noise ratio stuff. So if you want to make contacts and exchange signal reports with people, I know that's fun. I know that sounds boring, but it's fun to a lot of people. You can do that using FT8, and I've got a big HF antenna in the backyard. FT8 is starting. Now, FT8 takes a long time to start. Remember, these are pretty CPU intensive apps. They're going to run on a virtual display that's embedded in the Raspberry Pi. Remember, our DigiPi here doesn't have a keyboard or a monitor, so we have to kind of emulate all that internally. And then we're going to display all of that in a web browser or even on our tablet. We can use these apps. All we need is Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, and we can start using these apps. So I'm going to come down here and click on FT8. And this is going to go to this virtual display that's built into the Raspberry Pi, and you can do this over a tablet or something as well, like when you're in the field. I mean, I'm doing this demo on the computer. So it's connecting up. Let me resize this a little bit to make it more visible. A little bit smaller. All right, now FT8 takes the longest to start. For some reason, it takes about 30 seconds to start and settle down, but then it runs just fine. And we don't know exactly why it takes so long, like almost a whole minute. It just burns CPU for a while. And again, the other thing I did is turn off the CPU governor. It's in power save mode on the Raspberry Pi Zero by default for no reason. So you get a 30% CPU boost if you put this Raspberry Pi into performance mode. And that's really what makes these applications possible. Of course, it's during the day, so I'm going to set this over to 14074 megahertz. Yeah, the cat control is working. The radio is on 14074. The mode is wrong though. It likes to be in FM mode for some reason. So let's put it in upper side band. That should do it. All right, and now we are on frequency. Let's see if we can hear it. Oh, if you're an FT8 person, you know that sound. 14074. I just bumped the width actually, so now we're in wider mode here. So 14074, we're doing FT8, and the stations are coming in. We can hear them. I'm gonna turn them down a little bit. I don't know if we want to make a contact. Do we have enough time? So we got anyone calling CQ that has a good level here? I don't know. How about this guy's -8? I'm gonna double click on him, and I'm gonna enable the transmitter, and we're gonna transmit on the next frame. We are transmitting. How about that? And the monitor's off, so we can't hear it. But it is transmitting. The ALC looks good. We're transmitting for the rest of the frame. You can see the red lights on here. All right, we just responded to that guy's CQ. So we are using FT8. How about that? On the Raspberry Pi Zero. So I can go ahead and close this. Actually, what I wanted to show you guys is how we can do this on the Raspberry Pi, or not, and with your tablet. How about that? So we're doing FT8 like from the easy chair at home. We don't even have to be next to the radio. FT8, and hopefully that screen's updating. But it's the same screen we just saw, only we can do it on our tablet as well. All right, so let's turn off FT8. Let's move it on to slow scan television. I'm gonna go ahead and click on here. These are the new modes, FT8, slow scan, and FL Digi. And I've been using them with a couple of different radios. The ICOM usually works just out of the box. So the radios need to be configured to each radio. Each app has a little finicky depending on each radio. But I've got it working on the ICOM 7300, the Yaesu 991 here, and also the for VHF packet, I've got the Yaesu 2980. It works great with that for the VHF modes. And so slow scan television is running. I'm going to click right here on SSTV, and it's going to open up that virtual display. Come on, it's supposed to. And again, if you can use these apps in a web browser or your tablet or your phone. If you install the VNC client on your Android Wi-Fi devices, it works a little better, but it works in a browser on your phone as well. So in the field, this is ideal. No keyboard, no monitor. All you need is your phone or any Wi-Fi kind of tablet. So here we are in slow scan television. I can do transmit, right click, say load, pull up a graphic. I'm kind of a retro gamer here, so I got this cool adventure Atari Dragon dude, and I'm just gonna say this is to CQ, and we can draw our own frame. And for slow scan television, we want to be on 14230, 14230, and there it is. I always put the dial lock on these too because I'm always bumping the dial. So let's do a quick transmission. Why not? We're at Scotty 2 mode. The channel is clear. I'm listening. I don't hear anything. Don't stomp people. And now I am going to transmit our image. And it is off. And again, I don't have the monitor on, but you can hear it. I can see the power levels up. The ALC is good. We are transmitting an image, 9, 10, 11, 12%. It's going. I'm not going to transmit that whole image. I am going to stop. Actually, let me turn on the monitor. A signal's coming in right now. The monitor is now on 31, so we can hear ourselves and the other guy. So maybe we're actually receiving an image here. Let's go over to the receive tab. So come on. Nah, he's too weak. He's not. We didn't get a lock. Hey, he's coming in, but boy, is it garbly. I don't know if this is the best day for slow scan television, but as you can see, we've got an image coming in, and it's got a little bit of slant to it. All right, I'm going to pause it, and then so you guys can see the whole image here. Yeah, I paused you guys while the image was coming in. It didn't come in very well. Maybe just a low propagation day, but I do have the monitor on here, and I can go back to the transmit page, and I think we'll be able to hear it this time. Let's see if we can hear our own transmission here. I'm going to hit play to transmit, and it's working. This is what it sounds like, and I look silly, but I'm getting really close to the speaker. And we are transmitting that image. And you can look on world SDR sites that are actually decoding slow scan television quite a bit. So that's our image that is transmitting at 40 watts using the Yaesu 991 and the Digipie. I'm going to go ahead and stop it now just for the sake of time. But yeah, we transmitted at least half of that image using Scotty 2. So let's slow scan television. How cool is that? I'll say, okay, so I promised myself I get all through all of these modes in less than 20 minutes, and I think we're gonna make it. We've gone through a lot of frequencies and different modes. The last one is probably my favorite, FL Digi. I can go ahead and turn that on. FL Digi is like the ultimate digital transceiver. It'll do CW, it'll do Contessa, it'll do PSK31 packet radio, so you can actually do keyboard to keyboard chatting with other radio operators. It could be locally on VHF or it could be worldwide on HF. So FL Digi allows you to do that. So FL Digi is starting right now on the Raspberry Pi in a virtual display. And again, if you're not sure where to go or how to use it, let's say you got your phone and you're in the field. This comes up and brings up its own network, its own Wi-Fi network. You can connect to it using your phone. Just go to the URL on the display if you're in FL Digi, slow scan, or FT8 mode. And this just says go to Digipie/FLD. But if you're already on the web interface for the Digipie, you can just click on FL Digi and it'll pull up a screen and it'll show us FL Digi running. I'm not going to start a conversation, but what I can do is maybe just throw out a radio test message on HF. So I'm going to do BPKS31, so unlock this, and this is on 14070, 14070. 14070, there it is. And I'm going to lock that dial because, man, I always bump the dial. So here we are, FL Digi is up and running. It's a little big. I'm doing browser shrinking here. That's probably good enough. Make this guy full screen. So here we are doing BPKS PSK31 packet radio using the DigiPi on 14070. I'm looking at the waterfall. I don't see any users right now, but let me just pick a free frequency here, right there. And I am just going to say like, I don't know, radio test, like that. And then I'm going to bring in the transmission, and you can hear it. That is my BPSK31 transmission I just made at the 14070 megahertz. You can see myself on the waterfall there. And we did it. We did FL Digi on the Raspberry Pi. I can go back here and I can turn this off. So the DigiPi is really like the ultimate amateur radio data transceiver. You can see the log file. There's help subsystem here to say what should and shouldn't be on. Um, Once you make it comes up in read-only SD card, so you can't corrupt it. When you turn it on at home and get it working, then go out into the field and turn it on, it's going to work exactly right. If you make a bunch of changes, configuration changes to these last three, FL Digi, slow scan television, FT8, you can click on Save Configs, and it will save those configurations to the SD card just to kind of and keep them there, and then make the SD card read only again in the field. There's a whole setup thing for this. For setting up Wi-Fi, you can poke in your your call sign, your grid square. You can poke all that stuff in, set up. This one's already been set up, so we can't really submit this, but this is kind of how you enter all of your data into the Digipie, so you don't have to. And it actually I poke it into like FT8, FL Digi, your call sign, and all that stuff. So that is the Digipie in a nutshell. And the big news here today is we've got Digipie version 1.5, which is out right now. Again, you want to go to Krager.org/Digipie to get a copy of the software image and also get the instructions on what to buy, where to get it. If you want to wire up a push-to-talk switch, that diagram is right here. So again, Krager.org/Digipie. Right now, while this is under heavy development, this is for patrons of KM6LYW radio, but so there's kind of a paywall here, but again, just $1. Ultimately, I'm not trying to lock people out of the software, but the development is happening so fast. I can't support everyone while everything is changing. So there's a single source for this right now, and I want to avoid forks and things like that. So just maybe $1 or $2 in Patreon. If you can do that, you'll get the password to download the Digipie image, and you'll be able to do everything that you just saw here with Digipie version 1.5. This is KM6LYW Radio. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Tell me in the comments what you think. Like and subscribe. We're over, what are we, 500 subscribers now and growing fast. So please like and subscribe. That would help me out immensely. KM6LYW Radio, and I'm clear. Thanks.